One JUNAIDI'S wife, FEONA, dies at 70. Allowance for members attending Dune sitting to be reviewed. IDECS 2022 highlights PCDS 2030. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Handy Gui and this is TVS Nightline. The wife of Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Sri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, Datin Sri FEONA Noor Jana passed away at 6 p.m. today. Wan Junaidi confirmed in his Facebook post that his wife had passed away at Borneo Medical Centre in Kuching due to internal bleeding.
FEONA, who died at the age of 70, will be buried at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Semayang Islamic Burial Centre. Funerary prayers will be conducted at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and Premier of Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg is expected to attend the prayers. The late Sim married Wan Junaidi in 1972 at Rumah Sarawak, which was the home of the deceased godfather, the late Tun Patinggi Abdul Rahman Yaakob. Their marriage resulted in 3 children, 49-year-old Mbok Fariah, 38-year-old Sharifah Nong Jasima, and 29-year-old Sharifah Nuril Bariyah.
A committee is set to revise the allowance for elective representatives who attend the State Legislative Assembly Dune sitting. Deputy Premier of Sarawak Datuk Sri Dr. Sim Kui Hian said the committee would take into consideration of the current needs.
Dr. Sim said there had not been any adjustments to the Dune sitting allowance of 50 ringgit per day since 1980.
What's important is that consideration we must build in a time frame. I mean, like every 5 years or every 10 years or what. I mean, it cannot be like the current time is, I think, since 1980s. Yeah, I think they said since 1980 yesterday, because I didn't hear properly. Yeah, I mean, you guys look out for the handset lah. I mean.
He was commenting on Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, who had agreed in principle last night to increase the allowance for members of the August House who attend the sitting. Dr. Sim said this after observing local media practitioners being administered second COVID-19 booster doses at Batu Kawah Health Clinic on Friday.
Economic potential of hydrogen, globalization, supply chain sustainability, excavation merger, industrial revolution, and Industry 4.0. Those are among the topics to be discussed in the International Digital Economy Conference Sarawak 2022, or IDECS 2022, with the highlights on the Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030, or PCDS 2030.
Sarawak has already, as you all know, we are all very serious regarding the global issue, which is climate change. And our Premier has taken a very big and important step towards this issue. And he has set up a new ministry, which is our ministry, Ministry of Energy and Environmental Sustainability. Actually, these two things are very closely related because to achieve the adaptations from the challenges of the climate change, we need to go through the process of environmental sustainability, okay, basically. So under this environmental sustainability, the main strategy would be towards low carbon economy, low carbon technology, low carbon way of life, and so on.
Haslan said emphasis on the PCDS 2030 is crucial, being Sarawak's main agenda and propel the state forward. IDECS 2022 will feature two new events, the Digital Satellite Program DSP and the Digital Economy Award DEA, which was held for the first time. IDECS 2022 will be held on the 21st and 22nd of June 2022 at the Borneo Convention Center, Kuching, and broadcasted live on the official Facebook via TVS and the Sarawak Public Communications Unit or UCAS. For more information, please visit idecs.sarawak.gov.my website. As Sarawak moves into greater use of digital economy, unexpected and unfavorable situations may happen. However, it's only through the situation where e-commerces can grow even better.
According to a press release by the management of Sarawak Information Systems, a small fire broke out at the Sarawak Information Systems Science at around 7:15 p.m. on Thursday, May 26, therefore causing many digital services under the Sarawak government like SPay Global and the D-Bazaar application to be downed. Founder of D-Bazaar, Kent Kaur, said, "One of the downsides of e-commerce is that it requires connectivity access, which may cause problems when the main system breaks down."
One thing bad about e-commerce is it's heavily depending on the internet.
Meanwhile, Kaur mentioned improvements that could be looked into, including building more data centers and increasing resources.
In the Western country, a lot of the big companies like Amazon's web service, they have multiple data centers. So in case one system is down, another one can pick up.
In a recent interview with the State Economic Planning Unit Director, Dr. Muhammad Abdullah Zaidel, SPay Global is expected to be back online by midnight. Additionally, the SPay Global Communication Manager addressed their apologies to all the users and merchants, asking them for their patience and understanding.
One thing about e-commerce or anything that's online is you just have to do it and then keep improving. I know a lot of people are disappointed. I guess this is part of the journey that we have to go through. Even for D-Bazaar, we have to go through many things. A lot of things that after we do it, then we learn and we keep improving. And just hope that everybody can understand and continue to support the government in moving towards digital economy.
The largest mural in Malaysia, with a length of 1,370 square meters, is now being displayed at the Borneo Convention Center, Kuching BCCK, beginning today until June 8. The Sarawakian theme mural maze painting is a project that describes the beauty, diversity, and the richness of nature in Sarawak. Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Dato' Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah said the giant Sarawak theme mural drawings will be included in the Malaysia Book of Records in an area reaching 181 meters.
It will be a moment for all Sarawakians to be proud of. Through this project, we will celebrate our beauty and ethnic diversity, which I believe is crucial in living memorable cultural and heritage legacy of Sarawak.
Karim also stated that such creative art activity will be able to assist in reviving the tourism industry in Sarawak. The mural maze was painted with 5 unique elements found in Sarawak, namely culture, travel, nature, festivals, and food. A total of 250 participants from several local universities, as well as the Association of the Deaf Sarawak, contributed their ideas and creativity to produce the masterpiece. Now, local athletes are faced with uncertainties as to which categories that they will compete in the upcoming 20th Malaysia Games or SUKMA 2022. Deputy Minister for Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Sarawak, Dato' Gerald Rentap Jabu, disclosed a large number of athletes are struggling and willingly foregoing their training to find a source of income.
Macam our shooting athletes, I know some of them sudah jadi food panda rider because they make money. Training lagi dapat RM30 saja. Dan jadi food panda dapat 150 per day. So ini, this is disruption because of pandemic. Dan ini adalah keadaan reality kita.
Earlier, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Dr. Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, has set a target for Sarawak to emerge as the champion this year. He is confident that the mission can be achieved due to the excellent performance of Sarawak athletes who represented the country at the Hanoi SEA Games recently. The tournament, which has been postponed for the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, will be organized from September 29 to October 8 this year around the Klang Valley. Meanwhile, Datuk Gerald said sports facilities need to be improved to boost the athletes' morale during training. He added that the tennis court in Tabuan Jaya State Sports School has been upgraded for the said purpose.
Sebagai satu holistic approach. Untuk kita menjadi juara, kita memberi good training, good place. Dan yang paling utamanya, the condition of what we use. Macam the courts tadi, mesti pun dalam keadaan yang baik.
He said so during the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU between Sarawak Sports Corporation SSC and Sarawak Lawn Tennis Association SLTA at Pandalela Rinong Aquatic Centre on Friday. In addition, he said that a total of 2 tennis courts in Betong Division have been improved by replacing the court surface.
Now I'm talking to MRSM Betong because they got 3 more courts, also in bad condition, which I will also resurface using my RTP saya lah daripada project saya. So I have 5 courts in Betong, so you can have competition there.
Rentap stressed that he will pursue the fundings in realizing the projects. Coming up right after the break, developing resilient tourism post-COVID-19 in Sarawak, enhancing bilateral ties with Japan, right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned.
Hai, siapa kata makeup artist boleh jadi host? Tidak tahu kami nak bagilah host. Jadi kepada anda mesti nak tahu rancangan apakah? Jadi kami nak nunjuk yang kita orang rancangan apa yang kami jadi host. Kepada anda di rumah, kami audition dalam rancangan yang terbaru di TVS. Kedai kita hashtag kami jual, kita beli. Love.
TVS menyediakan program menarik di musim perayaan gawai kali ini.
Oh my God! Amal lawan apa itu?
Laban semua anak apai bisik itu magang maya hari gawai TBK data itu, aku deka mai kita besau ngagak lulun.
Ngagak lulun?
What's that? Ni kat bawah yang?
Bawang aja, lemak.
Pakai ke Indo?
Umbas lah.
Umbasnya.
Jangan lupa di TVS, saluran 122 Astro dan My Freeview.
Mun mau tahu Sine City Makan minggu tu? Jangan lupa saksikan Sine City Makan setiap hari Selasa jam 5.45 petang hanya di TVS, saluran 122 Astro dan My Freeview. Makan-makan.
Thank you for staying with me. Now, the pandemic has devastated the global travel and tourism industry. No sector has suffered more, and no region has fared worse than Sarawak, where revenues were down almost 97% in 2020. This year, many countries are eagerly trying to win back visitors, yet they face stiff competition from the great outdoors and ongoing international restrictions on travel. The reopening of borders in Sarawak brought great hope to tourist destinations. Finally, a chance to make some money after a lost season in 2020. But the coronavirus pandemic still hangs over the sector, making a return to normalization still elusive.
According to Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, Hee Chang-ki, due to the need to overcome the periods of lockdowns and keep the industry on afloat, numerous initiatives have been made. Among others are the BKSS 6.0 Special Assistance for Licensed Tour Operators and Sia Sitok campaign.
The business event sector, also we have a lot of homegrown events incentives. You can't go out, people cannot come in, but we have events, meetings going on within Sarawak. So those are the things that how we help the economic sector during the pandemic period, including capacity building, workshops, trainings and so on.
He said all these initiatives received overwhelmingly good responses from locals, stating that if the Sia Sitok Sarawak campaign proved anything, it will be the importance of domestic tourists in reviving tourism. Meanwhile, with the reopening of the country's borders to international visitors, he strongly believed that international arrivals would greatly increase in view of travelling being made easy without the hassle of quarantine for those who had completed their COVID-19 vaccination.
By end of last year, I think we still have only about 214 flights by November last year, which is still very much less than pre-pandemic flights frequency, which was about 600 plus. All right? So we gradually increase, right? So as we open our border on the 1st of April that day, our flight frequencies have increased to 600 plus per week into Sarawak. That is very, very close. I would say 90% has recovered the frequencies compared to 2019.
He also hoped that international flights connecting the state with Pontianak in Indonesia and also Brunei could resume soon. Moreover, Sarawak is set to see increased air connectivity with more destinations in Peninsular Malaysia, as Sarawak Tourism Board (STB) and Malaysia Aviation Group (AVG) embarked on a year-long partnership to promote Sarawak as a tourist destination in 2022 through the Sia Sitok Sarawak Plus Interstate Travel campaign. He said so in an exclusive interview with TVS on Thursday.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob today held a meeting with his Japanese counterpart Fumio Kishida to enhance cordial relations between Malaysia and Japan at the Japanese Prime Minister's office on Friday, May 27th. This is the first meeting between the two leaders since they both led their respective governments in 2021. Ismail Sabri and Kishida had earlier held a Japan-Malaysia conference and spoken to each other through phone call on April 20th to discuss various regional and international issues. This is also the first time Kishida played host to the Prime Minister of Malaysia since taking office in October last year. The meeting was in conjunction with the official visit of Ismail Sabri to Japan. The Prime Minister is scheduled to participate in the 27th International Conference on the Future of Asia, which is an annual gathering of political, economic, and industry leaders from the Asia-Pacific region, as well as to meet Japanese business and corporate figures on attracting investment to Malaysia. This year also marks the 40th anniversary of the Look East policy, which contributed to the strengthening of bilateral relations between Malaysia and Japan. Malaysia and Thailand have agreed to prevent non-traditional security threats along the borders by strengthening information and intelligence exchange among border agencies. This was among the resolutions laid out during the 55th General Border Committee or GBC meeting between Malaysia and Thailand on Thursday. The defense ministries of Malaysia and Thailand in a joint statement said the meeting, which was co-chaired by Malaysia's Senior Defense Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Hussein and Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister Jan Prawit Wongsuwan, also agreed to improve the effectiveness of joint operations as a measure to curb the proliferation of COVID-19 infections. Malaysia and Thailand have also come together to facilitate legal boarding crossing activities for economic growth and to strengthen border area communities. The hour-long meeting also concurred on conducting the 4th Joint Combined Exercise Committee Thailand-Malaysia exercise with the possibility of inviting ASEAN members and allied countries as observers and participants. According to the statement, the GBC meeting this year was also satisfied with the progress of activities, including operational activities, border management activities, and other socio-economic development initiatives conducted along the border that were reviewed and reported by committees from both countries.
Nak tahu di mana staycation best kali ini?
Iya.
Jangan lupa saksikan Staycation with Fatah setiap Sabtu jam 1.15 petang hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My Freeview.
TVS menyediakan program menarik di musim perayaan gawai kali ini.
Oh my God! Amal lawan apa itu?
Laban semua anak apai bisik di tu magang maya hari gawai TDK data itu, aku deka mai kita besau ngagak lulun.
Ngagak lulun? What's that? Ngagak bawang?
Bawang aja. Lemak.
Pakai kendo. Umbas lah.
Umbasnya.
Jangan lupa di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My Freeview.
Anda nak tahu apa yang terjadi dalam sejahtera Asia musim yang terbaru?
Lebih rancak, lebih meriah,
lebih menarik, lebih informatif, lebih banyak program baharu dan menarik.
Nak belajar? Nak tahu tempat menarik? Nak apa lagi?
Saya di sini lagi rancak berjalan. Saksikan Sejahtera Asia musim yang baru bersiaran setiap hari jam 7.30 pagi.
Welcome back. Now, the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPD and HEP, will apply for greater allocation from the government to further develop the franchise industry in the country. Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs KPD and HEP Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi said the ministry was given 8 million ringgit in the last national budget to guide those who are interested in entering the industry through the two development programs, micro-franchise and affordable franchise.
Tahun lepas kita diberi 8 juta untuk membangunkan dan juga sebagai satu buat program membimbing yang baru menceburi diri, kita pilihlah dan dengan 8 juta itu tidak banyak. Jadi sebab itu dengan melihat program ini kami agak merasakan puas hatilah. Program ini boleh kita lanjutkan. Sebab itu mungkin untuk tahun depan kita mohon bajet yang lebih supaya program ini dapat kami teruskan.
Meanwhile, The micro-franchise and affordable franchise development program are one of KPD and HEP's main programs in the effort to attract more participation from the people, especially those in the B40 and M40 groups to enter the franchise field. Nanta said that they will work to bring more Malaysian franchise brands overseas.
Ya, kita dah ada bertapak di 72 negara, ya, yang jenama kita, ya.
Jadi mungkin akan datang ada apa jenama lagi yang mungkin akan dibawa ke luar negeri.
Ya, kita jenama-jenama baru itu kita bangunkan industri ini supaya ada lebih banyak lagi jenama-jenama produk-produk baru yang kita boleh bawa dan perkenalkan baik di dalam negara, dalam negeri ataupun di luar negara, ya. Sebab yang sedia ada ni dia juga berkembang, tapi untuk kita lebih meluas lagi, kita memang alu-alukan jenama-jenama baru, produk-produk baru ataupun boleh kita perkenalkan.
Among the efforts proposed include participating in a franchise expo in Johannesburg, South Africa, next month to introduce the Malaysian franchise brand in the foreign market. Tiny slivers of ear tissue snipped from Ours All piglet offer valuable clues for the team at Best Genetic Group or BGG as it strives to improve the genetics of China's hog herd to produce cheaper meat for the world's top pork consumer. Breeding pigs that have largest litters, reach slaughter weight quicker and require less feed can make a big difference in a market producing almost 700 million hogs a year.
目前或者是以前的这个状态呢，我们的种源，我们种猪的这个资源呢，都是从国外引进的，而且很多厂呢，它都是引进之后，可能3年甚至不到3年，这个种群就退化了，然后没有取得遗传进展，然后性能还达到了性能还出现了很大的一个程度的退化，所以这些方面的话，都说明我们自己要做自己的这个种源是非常重要的。那我们国家在这个方面也意识到了，然后就是把这个种源战略提升到一个很高的程度，要解决我们在种猪方面被国外卡脖子的这种状态嘛。
China has the world's biggest hog herd, but relies heavily on imports for breeding material, more so after the African swine fever virus in 2018 to 2019 decimated its pig population and wiped out much of its breeding pool. Breeders are looking to improve the genetics of overseas and local pigs, but have a lack of experience in collecting data. High costs, competition, and market volatility pose big challenges. Thus, genetic improvements for cheaper meat are in high demand, but so far, international companies have been better at this.
People working in the sector have very little experience because they have been working there just for a few years. And that's, I think, for me and other Western consultants, the big difference. We can bring many years of experience.
After buying 1,200 purebred sows from Canada-based Genesis in 2012, it has expanded the herd to 6,000 and the average number of piglets born per litter to 15, one more than when it all began. Now BGG aims to increase the litter size by another 1.35 in 5 years and reduce the back fat of its boars. These efforts come amid President Xi Jinping's call for self-sufficiency in food. Don't forget to tune in to Sejahtera Asia tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. on the topic of rose flower planting and cell respiration versus photosynthesis, with hosts Alexand and Sharon Kezia and guest intellectual segment teacher Puan Bong and Puan Jinap Unai, a rose enthusiast, right here on TVS Astro Channel 122 and My Freeview. And that is all for TVS Nightline. Stay up to date with the top stories via our website at TVSTVMY and follow our social media platforms for the latest news and entertainment. Once again, I'm Handy Gui. Stay safe and have a pleasant night.